everyone, welcome to the next video, and here we go. I found a smaller model of the same kind, yes, in my studio. I bought it many years ago. Well, it arrived that it got kind of broken, yes, because when you manipulate with those legs, they really, don't last long time, and the wood breaks. So if you really try to manipulate with those, do it very carefully, But I'm telling you right away, it doesn't make any sense to buy those unless you fix your head. You see, I just put it here, the needle gun, yeah, and form kind of, maybe for those guys who produce this kind of models, make the head rather something around those lines. And then you will have the real head. So now if you do the 3/4 or something, yes, you would have the form of the head as the model would have. And then it would kind of, work, except that it needs to be smaller, yes? Because you see, they repeat the same mistake. This and this to the heels is correct, but head itself is 2, 3, and little. So it's not even for head. So I don't know, somebody one day, I don't know, they, if you do this kind of figures, think about the proportions and anyway. So anyway, so just kind of briefly, you see, when you would have this kind of head, yes, okay, this kind of head, you can, of course, imagine, let's say I'm going to just put it something there and just briefly to maybe sketch this kind of form. But I am showing this only for one reason, that I choose different, surface of the paper. So it's not craft paper, it's kind of grayish, yes, paper. So when you have, for example, box of the shoes or something, you can also use it, the cartons, to actually sketch, play with this kind of, two-color sketching, black and white, yes? So for example, of course, the head, we cannot, I could adjust a little bit up there, yeah? So for example, let's just maybe do some kind of, this is even better than the other doesn't move like this. Okay, so let me just put the head maybe a little bit down and this entire torso like that. Well, let me see what I could made from this. Yeah, but you see, you can turn it, but it gets back after, unless you can. Anyway, let's say we have something like this. So we have some kind of movement, yeah, and I'm gonna try to not to move too much. We have some kind of movement, around it, yes, kind of gestural movement. And we have the head much more correct now, okay, because we have some, even if it's too big, but we consider that the head actually gets to that. This is the head. The neck going to be too long a little bit, but it doesn't matter, It's just kind of, try to get some kind of theater here, yeah, with this kind of, building, sticking the models and make them a little bit much more correct and so on. Anyway, we have some kind of figure of this kind, yes? So let's just kind of briefly conclude with this. Wooden models, yeah, so, well, look, this time, head angle you have like this, next go a little bit that way, and then the entire figure there has a curve, yes? So, as I mentioned previously, you can use in the worst scenario the wooden models, but you have to remember that the head used to make smaller and so on. So, so let's go. Let's say, well, we have the head somewhere there, yeah, over there. So I do this first ellipse approximately, yes. Okay, first ellipse perpendicularly to it. Now, how much I do? I see that the middle of the face, yeah, is moved from the center. So I have that kind of 3/4 out. So this 3/4 is there, yeah. So 3/4. So if I do this, now I have here the middle of the face. Yeah, so this small stuff I add there, and I just kind of, oops, sorry, a little bit too big. A little bit add another ellipse perpendicularly to the vertical one. So my head now has this kind of less or more form, yes. So I understand what I did there. Well, I'm gonna push it a little bit because you don't see it much. So, or maybe let me just adjust the light. Yeah, I put some other light there. It's going to be a little bit better visible. Yeah. Okay. And now, and the rest is, well, I'm going to, somewhere there is the neck, and we have this kind of, yeah, this kind of curve, yes, here and there, yeah, something like that. So if we take this space there 1/3, so it's going to be somewhere there, and we have this kind of, yeah, angle, yes. And now the heads, second, third, and fourth, yes. And we have, you know, well, we have the side here, yeah, you see? Here you're going to have what? Side, yes? This is side, and this is front. And here the side is where? Is here, yeah? That's the side, and that's the front. So we have kind of in halfway, isn't it? Less or more. So, okay, I'm going to do this as usually. One here, for example, yeah? Okay, another over there, yes? Okay, yeah, something of this kind. And now I know that approximately here I have what? From this direction, I don't gonna see, you're gonna see just little the top. So I have kind of top there. And this is kind of the sidey ones, yes, side ones, yes. And half is somewhere there. So, and this, I don't gonna see it. I'm gonna see something like that. And over there in half, I'm gonna have this. And here is going to go a little bit this way, yes, and there, yeah, and there, something along those lines, yes, as a figure, as a form. If we go to the head, of course, you see, starting from this point, you have the side of the head. Here you have the front, yes, okay, and here's the top of the head. Okay, so I know one thing, that somewhere there, yes, I have the side of the head, isn't it? Yes. Yeah, you can put some few lines just in case to kind of indicate. And also here, if you put some gently few lines, just orient yourself so you kind of control what you're doing here. Yeah. So we have this kind of figure. And now, of course, from this space comes the arms. Another will come somewhere from there, yeah, from the other side. And you have the legs, yes, the legs. So you know that one is coming somewhere from there, and another is coming somewhere from there, okay? So you have kind of one here and one over there, yeah? And now, half of this is somewhere this space. So you put it somewhere here, you have the knee, yeah? And the other calf goes that way, the same, approximately the same space. And then you have, you see the foot goes kind of, you know, turn a little bit that way, yeah? Okay, here we don't see it because it's missing, but we can imagine that is going to be maybe something that way and maybe something that way, yeah? So you can kind of use also your imagination. If you're missing something like here, you have this curve as a reference, so you can kind of build another one the way you like. And well, I would add some kind of conical forms here, yeah, to make it this nicer as a geometric sketch, you know, of these legs and so on. Yes, I have another from the top. I see a little bit the knees there. Yeah, over here I see a little bit the knees, and here I'm gonna have this calf now going. Yes, so I do kind of, you can do straight lines. You don't have to do the curved ones, as I suggested to you. Yeah. You can do it even straight. They're not as beautiful as you would do the curved ones, because look, if I do the curved ones, I have much more the form of the tide and much more the form of the calf, yes? It's much more dynamic than the straight lines. So the choice is, of course, yours. The beginners, you can do even always better to do the straight lines, so you kind of save. Yeah, and now you have the heel over there somewhere, yes. And you can imagine that this part of the foot is going somewhere there, yeah, like this, yes, something like that. And the other is much more from the profile. So you go there, and you're gonna have this kind of profile going this way, here and there, yeah, something around those lines. And what we're missing is the arms. So you know that the arms are coming kind of, you know, from there, yeah, okay, and then go They go one, go this way. Now, third head is approximately here. So somewhere there, we're going to have elbows. Yes. So you have some kind of elbows, and you have, of course, the arms there. Yeah. Like this. Yes. And you have the forearm. Yeah. So it goes a little bit this way. And it actually goes here. Yeah. Here. And you have the hand, the palette of the hand. Yeah. You can kind of go this way. Yeah, and go a little bit that way, and something like that. Yeah, if you kind of want to keep this kind of model look kind of hands, and the other going to come from there. Yeah, from there. So we have approximately here this. So you're going to have this is a little bit the other way going. Yes. So we're going to have this elbow there, and the forearm going to go somewhere that direction. Yes, over there, and you're going to have the palette of the hand. So normally you would go something around those lines. You have the first one, you have the second one, and that's Tina. Yes, something that's more this way. So as you have this kind of thing, it's time to really, make it a little bit much more, you know, much more kind of, finalize the forms and everything. Yes. So here, of course, you will keep the, if you want, you can keep this the simple forms like this. Yes, just emphasize a little bit the contours. Yeah, the entire kind of form of it. Yes, okay. And the same you do here. You can, as now as I draw in the previous ones, you can modify them. You can make them much more angular, but you can keep also very, conservative way, squarish kind of forms, rectangular forms. Yeah, without any modification. Because if you want, you can add here, of course, the neck over there, kind of simple, kind of similar or something. If you want, you can add, of course, this. You can actually make this other parts a little bit, you see, like that. Yes, so you have two the same boxes. Okay, so it's up to you, whatever you feel comfortable. And here you would go, let's say with the arms, approximately, yes, you have this part, yes, you have this, of course, angle in the elbow here, and you have this part over there, and let's say we have the hand is like this. Okay, so you would have the top of the lower part of the front of the hand going this way, and then you will go with this part over there. Okay, so now you see this part somewhere coming from behind. You have this, yeah, you have that, yeah, and you have this part over there, and you just kind of go there, go here, and so on, yes, and you can, let's say the palette of the hand is going to be approximately going this way, yes, here and there. Just simplify. And we continue with this. So now I'm going to keep this one straight, yes. Okay, not making any curves or nothing, yeah, just straight. And the other, for example, then somewhere there, also straight, yeah. Over here, you have this first there, yeah, here and there, and you have, of course, this part of it there, yeah, and you can make it straight. They're not going to look as nice because you see the kind of curved ones are much more, resembling the leg. Yeah, those are really kind of robotic forms. Yeah, kind of, the kind of marionettes, kind of wooden, bodies. Yes. So let's say this is going to go approximately like that. Yeah, and this one going to go approximately this way. Going to get broken here, and you have this, that. Yeah. So normally the block would be somewhere here, but I'm not. Just let's say here I would broke here. Now you can add the ankles there, yeah. Okay, over there still you can add the ankles if you want, yes. So it's going to be much more, Even here you can do and add kind of joints, and as we have this here, but it's not necessary. This is enough. This is only for you. Why I kind of suggest you to practice this kind of forms, geometric forms, kind of, in certain way, imaginary forms, because these are different forms. It doesn't make sense to draw exactly this, yeah, because but you can do it if you want. You can put it here, of course, also a sphere or something representing kind of belly part, isn't it? So we can kind of put it the sphere there, yeah, okay. and we're going to have some kind of, let's say, some other addition to this geometric perception of this kind of figure. But that will be enough. So now if you want to kind of, feel a little bit much more the dimensionality, before I was telling you about choosing the direction of the light, but you can kind of, do it in the fantasy way. So you just only know one thing, that whatever is around it needs to have core shadow, yes, yeah, and the same going to be there, yeah, okay, core shadow, whatever is around it, you're going to have core shadow there around it because it's sphere. This part you would have in this position, well, to just dimensionalize this, I would put a little bit black here, yeah, okay. And over there, of course, I'm going to have what? Some kind of core shadow here as well, because it's spheric form, isn't it? And this spheric form going to project some shadow on the base over there. And this side, for example, I'm going to put a little bit darker, yeah, this part over there, yeah, okay. This I'm going to leave, I'm going to play with the white. Here, this part, of course, is if it's rounded, I'm going to have this kind of core shadow going this way and a little bit that way, yeah? Because it's kind of the roundness of the head, yes? Going to have this kind of core shadow. So the stronger, of course, going to be somewhere here, okay? And I'm going to have, of course, something under the neck over there, yeah, and so on. Going to be projected on the shoulders. And here, as I have there, so I will continue put it a little bit on the side, yes? And on this side as well, this is going to be darker, yeah, over there, and core shadow a little bit here and there, yeah. So by adding these core shadows, yes, I would kind of, emphasize a little bit the different forms. And also here I would have a little bit, yes, something, in shadow. I'm going to have core shadow over there a little bit, yes. Yeah, I'm going to have a little bit over there. If I want to dimensionalize this type, I would add core shadow a little bit, isn't it? And also there a little bit, yes, and a little bit there, yeah, okay, and a little bit, of course. And now is going to be, I'm going to put the core shadow not from this side, but the lower one, because the leg is up, so the light going to be there, yeah. So you always think where to put this core shadow. Here I can keep the same way, approximately, yeah. And now here, of course, I have this kind of ankle, if you put there, yeah. And you're going to have, for example, this in light, but this is going to be a little bit in shadow, yes. And that's going to be in light, but you're going to have the shadow a little bit there, yeah. So just kind of, certain way is a little bit kind of fantastic, fantasy way of application, but you can feel much more dimensionalities if you do so. And now with the white, if you add a little bit, white there, so all these forms gets much more, juicy, yes. And also here on top, yes. Also here, you see, yeah, a little bit here, yeah, a little bit there, a little bit something here, yeah. Okay, and also a little bit something there, yeah, on the sphere over there, yeah. And also here you can push it, you can do that way, make it a little bit lighter, this part, and the other is kind of, because it's square. You remember about the square? I was saying that when you have the corner, and you have 45-degree, so once it goes up, this part is lighter. When it goes down, this is lighter, but that's the lightest part is there. This is darker. So that's why you put the white rather from that side. And as you go there, a little bit kind of something white here, a little bit some point there, a little bit some point there, isn't it? And you're getting much more, you see, much more kind of, interesting forms, yes? If you add this kind of, if you work with these two colors, yeah? White and dark, and so on, yes? So just kind of add a little bit here and there. Here you're going to have now the core of light. Here you're going to have the core of light on the other side. A little bit maybe here and maybe something over here. Yeah, a little bit something over here and a little bit something over there. So you can kind of, do any way you want as long as you emphasize the dimensionality of the forms, yes? And if you want to do much more about this, I would take the China marker because it covers much more better. Yeah, so you see, if I go with the China market, I can actually make it kind of white behind, yes, yeah, strong white behind, and also here, and cover the other kind of lines there, yeah. Okay, and I can kind of distribute this kind of little bit kind of artistic stroke, a little bit fading away. Yeah, so if I go there and there, I will also have this kind of, kind of, much more in-depth form, yeah, because I have some kind of light behind, isn't it? Yes, and it's going to kind of get this form much more, dimensional, yeah. You can do the same, of course, with the black, as I was explaining to you. So this is, of course, brief kind of, thing. You can draw this model as it is, yes, with all these kind of nuances. So you would make this chest, for example, a little bit this way. Yeah, you will go that way. Over there, you have this kind of cut there, yeah, over there. And you will have this little bit going this way, a little bit going that way, yeah, over there. And it's going to be kind of rounded there, yes. You're going to have this stuff, and here you're going to do this kind of, you see, kind of, like skirt there, yeah. So it's going to be much more, let's say, rounder, somewhere like this, yeah. So you can modify the forms according to this. You can draw exactly as it is. There's nothing wrong with these parts of the body. The only problem is that the head is too long. Yes, it should be shorter until here. Yes, that's the head. And then the neck going to be a little bit like this, 1/3 approximately, and you have to raise a little bit the shoulders. So it's going to be kind of much more closer to the proportions. So you can do, of course, the way as it is, but you can also simplify the way I was drawing this at the beginning, yes? So the choice is, of course, yours. When you pre-sketch, you can right away put the forms much more like they are here, yeah? Or you can, keep it simple. Or you can also put, much more dynamic. You see the tights over there, yeah? So the calves, you see, if you do like this, yeah, they're going to be much more leg reminding, going to kind of remind you a little bit much more the tight form, also the calf over there, yeah, if you go, yes. So you see this kind of additions, yeah, over there, and would be kind of much more, interesting in the sketch. As I mentioned previously, of course, in my book, you're going to find really a lot of things regarding how to do this. Yes, it's really very well explained. So I would suggest, if you're really into the figures or perspective, yeah, as we're going to do in other things analytically, this is kind of a first step to the analytic sketching, that you kind of try to understand what you're drawing. Analytic sketching is nothing else than thinking first and after draw. Yeah, never start to draw right away. Like in fine arts, is start right sketching like this. Try to the form and everything. That's not bad. There was this kind of sketching. Yeah, it's good preparation exercises to sketch a figure. Yeah, you can do with this kind of lines. Yeah, everything you can. As long as you do the proportions. But look how dirty the drawing going to be, because you kind of, intuitively try to find the form. Here, you're much more mathematic. You do the ellipse, you do the other one, you take this kind of angles there, you count everything, you economize your gesture and time. And unless you want to work physically a lot, so the artistic way, it could be something you might be interested in, yes. And yeah, so it's up to person, of course. But I rather prefer to think more and do less line and much more exact lines than try to get after from this, the form I am looking for, yes? Because anyway, after you would have to specify, what kind of form you're having there, or maybe you have this kind of chest and so on. You build a little bit differently, this form here and this form over there and this over there and so on. Yeah, and here you put the sphere and everything. So, I prefer rather clean sketch than kind of dirty, kind of many lines sketch. Is to me is it's my way. Rather is much more systematic thinking and planning this very gentle line, clean drawing, but this is not good. This is not bad in sense that if you want to try to kind of control your hand, and the first exercises of you know, drawing all kind of forms and everything. The gestural form is very, very good to try too. Yes, but as you get farther, at the beginning might be like this, but when you get farther, you much actually construct much more, you know, analytically, much more, you know, with the with the thought, not just by intuition. So intuition is, you know, not always. We all have different. We have all different perceptions, and the intuitive way of sketching never gets you as close to the realistic forms. I mean, the forms you see it, then you know the intuitive ways can be always different because I can see the form that way. Some of you gonna see this form a little bit much more longer, yeah, and others still wider. So we all have different perceptions of this form there. So it is something you would have to kind of, you know, you would have to, is here this form. So here is a bit kind of, you know, core shadow under and so on. Anyway, so that is for now. And we're going to move a little bit from the, you see, I made this head. Now I can take my eraser back and leave this unfortunate head as it was. Yes. So with my modification, the head was much more human than this now. Anyway, so thank you very much, and I see you next time for more.